everything all started is where it all will end. Escape from New York.
Yeah. I am terrible.
Swan.
Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. I praise the Almighty that's in the highest. I only follow what's truth and not liars. So many swear they valid cause God priors. Need to tighten them screws, then use the pliers. Bite the dragon blowing out flames, he trying to fry us. Applying pressure to get that poison inside us. Never seen it quite like this, they so persistent. More civil liberties taken cause you're resistant. Been trying to plant those seeds, but they ditch them. It flows, but you hold no water. Broken systems, never wanna listen. The vision's vivid focus. Take notice when I quote it. Who's the people that oppose it? Keep your eye on those closest. They can turn at any moment. Saw the signs when they show it. Sometimes foolish and ignore it. But now I'm wide-eyed and the view is clear. I see it. Majority don't receive it because really they don't believe it. Here in the time you can lose your mind. Brighter days can't see and say you do, you blind. Dark, gloomy like the sun don't shine. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. We in a time you can lose your mind. Brighter days can't see and say you do, you blind. Dark, gloomy like the sun don't shine. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. This current world we live in is so wicked, so wicked. It's about to get more intense, the things inflicted. Why see it starting off small, the things restricted. Then what to do when it comes to things nutritious or things delicious. No birthday wishes, a time vicious. Similar to the Christians who fought the king's visage. In hope I pray deliver before you make it shiver. Release it from your quiver, hot arrows, melt elements. Even the tusks of elephants, all be erased. It rain, fire, ain't nowhere to escape. I call it like I see it. Too many wanna be it, but really ain't got it. Your fraudulence been spotted. Let me stick to it, cause I don't do subliminal. I speak from observation, not just one individual. It's end game critical, cynics about the ridicule. Just pray the Lord's forgiving you before he gets rid of you. We in a time you could lose your mind. Brighter days can't see and say you do, you blind. Dark, gloomy like the sun don't shine. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. We in a time you could lose your mind. Brighter days can't see and say you do, you blind. Dark, gloomy like the sun don't shine. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my.
Peace, salute. Godspeed, salute. We alive, we live, we live. We back again with another one. We are back with one more. Another week, by the grace of the Almighty, with another presentation. We are live. Salute to everybody that's tapped in, that's tuned in right now. Salute. Peace, Godspeed, salute. We are live. We are live. All right. Yes, sir. As always, tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, subscribe, comment, share, all that. And yeah, let's get it going. All right. Hope everybody's good. We are about to go into today's presentation. It's called Monsters. Now, some of you might be wondering why monsters, and you're looking at the thumbnail for today's presentation, and you might have seen someone that looked familiar, maybe from your childhood, maybe from your children's childhood right now. But it's a famous monster, Cookie Monster, right? Seems harmless, seems, like something that is nothing to really stress over or to worry about, right? But let's see. So what came to my mind was this verse right here. I'm gonna share real quick, and we'll bring it back at the end. Peace, sis. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. This particular scripture came to mind in regard to today's presentation. Okay, and you can find this in the book of 2nd Esdras, which is in the Apocrypha, chapter 5 and verse 8. And it says, there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft, which is short for often, sent out, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. Yes, that's in the confines of the writings of the Apocrypha, King James Version, also available in the other translations. And it says pretty much the same thing. Just for the sake of it, I always go to the KJV. Sometimes I might throw up the Bible Hub app, excuse me, with the different translations so you can see the different variations, right? So we're not constrained to just using one quote unquote translation, right? So it says again, 2nd Esdras 5 and 8, there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out, and wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. Monsters. So let's keep that in mind moving forward with the presentation. As always, all I do is share the information, present my argument, present my stance, accompanied with proof, be it from information that's gathered or biblical proof. And oftentimes both correlating one with another to set my argument firm with what I'm presenting. If you believe, praise God. If you don't, praise God. You have your liberty, you have your freedom. That's the beauty of freedom. That's the beauty of liberty. You have your choice to make a decision whether to believe or not believe. Either way, to the Almighty be the glory. So let's get in it. Tonight's presentation is monsters. Everything that's shared and presented tonight will be available in the description after the live is completed. So what made me think of this, I actually been thinking about this and meditating on this for a while. When you look at the different cartoons, different children television shows, be it now, currently, or throughout time, throughout different generations, different years, from be it the 2000s, be it the 90s, be it the 80s, into the 70s. I believe also in the 60s. I didn't see too much in my research, but definitely in the 70s on up, you see children have television shows where they're being taught by animals. If it's a dog or a cat or bear or something, right? But then it was monsters. Monsters raising our children. Monsters raised some of us that are from these different generations. Myself, being born in the 70s. And I remember vividly growing up as a child and seeing different programs where monsters are made to appear to be friendly, and they look so nice and cuddly and so forth and so on. But nevertheless, they're monsters, right? So when you go and you dig and you look up a monster, what is a monster? What is a monster? I have an energy drink called Monster, right? Monster, a large, ugly, and frightening imaginary creature. An inhumanely cruel or wicked person, right? But we're looking at what they would say is imaginary creature, but it's not imaginary, right? Let's go into the Webster and let's check this out. A monster, an animal of strange or terrifying shape. And it says a mythical monster, a sea monster, right? So we get the idea. So a noun, a synonym for a monster is a demon. So we got the sis said 75, baby. Hola. Okay. Peace, grace, and peace. All right. So we see a monster is also synonymous to a demon or an ogre. Shrek, right? So just for the sake of it, what do we see? Hold on a second. Let me get this back, because I thought I had it. So let's read it again. A monster is an animal of strange or terrifying shape, a mythical monster, a sea monster, right? And you got to throw that mythical in there to throw it off. A synonym for monster is a demon or an ogre. Like I said, Shrek, Fiona, right? Monsters, demon, just for the sake of it. An evil spirit, a source or agent of evil, harm, distress, or ruin. Right? A ghoul, a devil, right? So we have the gist of what a monster is, right? So let's get into it. Now, there's some other shows that have, other children's shows that have a representation of monsters teaching our children. or some of us have been, as I mentioned, some of us have been taught and raised by monsters, right? So if you, I mean, it's still going on today. The show is still active today, but it originated in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, maybe late 60s, 69, 70, something like that. The most famous of the shows with monsters, can anybody guess? Anybody? Can anybody guess? What is the most famous of the children's shows with monsters? Anyone? Okay. Right on time. The brother Malak Apparel, Tito. Right on time. Sesame Street. Sesame Street. Right? Sesame Street is an American educational children's television series that combines live action, sketch comedy, animation, and puppetry. Sounds harmless, right? And then you have a whole basic history. So it started in 1966. So it was conceived in 66, and the release was 1969, 1970, right? You got a little brief history of who created it. This is one of the creators. Joan Gantz Cooney, right? And Lloyd Morissette. So you could just go through again. This will be in the description, and you could go through the history or what have you, or what they wrote and what they say is what it is. And just keep in mind that a lot of these programs and these shows are public broadcast system, PBS, and they are funded by various foundations, one of which is the Rockefeller Foundation. So there are monsters being used to raise and educate our children. So let's bring up a picture of some of these characters. Some of the most famous and the ones everybody's pretty much familiar with. I don't know every one of them, but of course, you know, Big Bird, he's not a monster, but it's a big bird, right? And then you got Cookie Monster right there. And I mean, Grover, excuse me. I confused the two. This is Grover. He's a monster. What is a Grover? And Cookie Monster right there, and Elmo. These are monsters. You even got a vampire, Bloodsucker, the Count. All right? But these are characters, not to mention these two, which we're going to get into, Bert and Ernie. We're going to get into them. And the rest of the cast and other characters that's there now present. These are monsters that raise our children. And some of us were raised by these monsters. Our parents put us in front of TV and said, watch this. Right? All monsters. They seem harmless, but it's a monster. Right? Let's get another one. Now, but you know, this is not going to be a very long presentation. Might just be about an hour. I also want to make it known and make everyone aware that is a follower to this channel and has been keeping up with the presentations for the past year now. January 30th is a major presentation, again, a continuation of the topic in regard to the little season, Satan's little season, and him being released from prison. Part 2 is on January 30th with my special guest, Jerome or Sean. And we will be going into some more information of the little season, the millennial reign, which already has occurred and came and went. So I look forward to that. Peace, sis. Salute. Thank you for tuning in. So here we go. We have some more. There's another picture of the monsters. They look so nice. I think you're bugging. It's Cookie Monster. It looks so nice. Look, it's so cool. It's a cool vampire. The Count. Right? Look at Elmo. So cool, right? So, yeah, I think you're taking it too far. Taking it too far. These are monsters. They're all monsters. With the exception of these two. They're supposed to be human. But there's something special about these two that we're going to get to that I'm not making up. This is not my theory. This is not my opinion. This is not me being biased or being funny. This is an actual fact of the relationship between these two individuals. We're going to get to that. But again, monsters. And you got a little bear there, right? Okay. What else we got? So let's get to them two that I mentioned. And why it's important to watch what it is that we allow our children to watch, to be observant, should I say, to what we allow our children to watch. And it's been on my mind for a while, spoken about it with, you know, close brothers and just in building and conversing and just looking in hindsight, like we really are raised by monsters and animals. Like that doesn't transmit and is a factor to how society is today and how people and why people act the way they act. I would say it's not the end all be all reason, but it definitely is a part of the reason and plays a part. So let's get to this next one. So this is, again, this is not my theory. Charting the long, proud history of those letters right there. Representation on Sesame Street as it moves to Netflix. So this was a little over 6 months ago. when this was written. And what do you have here? Bert and Ernie have been gay icons to many for years. Netflix has rescued beloved children's show Sesame Street and will make it available on a streaming platform, inheriting its history of representation after U.S. President Donald Trump pulled funding to PBS. So they obviously are taking it over.
Whoa. Num, 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 num. Num, 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 num. Ah. Whoa.
The potential disappearance of Sesame Street was not just a sad moment for TV, but also would have been a huge loss for crucial early childhood entertainment that centers on education. The show was created alongside a team of developmental psychologists with the goal of producing a program that combined childhood psychology with entertaining lessons. So, developmental psychologists dealing with the psyche, dealing with the mind of children with the use of monsters. And with those characters, two in particular that have officially come out for a couple of years now as a same-sex relationship. So it says, thankfully, Netflix has rescued Sesame Street, and under the deal, PBS will still have access to episodes on the same day they are released on Netflix. So, and what do you know? The rainbow. Just look at the colors. Roy G. Biv right there. The rainbow. The colors of the flag, which was originally a covenant made between the Most High and the inhabitants of Earth, that he would not destroy the earth again with a flood, because those activities, rainbow activities, if you will, were being done during the time before the flood, along with other things that reached its height where it was time for the Almighty to do what he did. And that goes into the giants and them leaving their first estate and going to deal with, the fallen angels that left their first estate and went on to deal with women and produced giants. And the giants did a bunch of debaucherous, heinous things to humanity, to themselves, to animals. But all this was going on in the earth as well at that time also. Tells you clearly that the imaginations and the thoughts of humans was evil continually, right? So it says, the Sesame Street cover that community's topics. The simple answer to this is yes. Originated in 1969, the beloved show has an extensive history of covering that community's topics, themes, and characters for young audience. So they've been pushing this agenda secretly under the guise of education for children, subtly indoctrinating our children with these topics and themes. From the very first episode, the show's creators have noted that Sesame Street has always stood for inclusion and acceptance. One of the first apparent nods to queer culture in the show was in the 1981 song We All Sing with the Same Voice, which includes the lyrics, I've got one daddy, I've got two. Though this could refer to a child having a father and a stepfather, some have noticed this ambiguity could also be a progressive early 80s reference to queer parenting. So we know that it's not talking about an actual dad and a stepdad. Since 2017, Sesame Workshop and Sesame Street have also shared social media posts celebrating that community's Pride Month every year. And look how they got them. And it's asking, are Bert and Ernie just friends or something more? Are Sesame Street's Bert and Ernie gay? Speculation about Bert and Ernie's relationship has lasted decades. Some say they're just besties, while others question their roommate label. Though the show's producers have repeatedly denied that the pair are in a romantic relationship, many think that their connection is underscored by queer devotion. For instance, in 2011, an online petition circulated to encourage Sesame Street to allow Bert and Ernie to get married. People in that community signed a petition for two male characters to become married while they're used to teach our children. Why is it always such a focus on doing something to the children to turn them out? To make them interested in something that is against nature? Right? It's something we got to ask ourselves. I'm gonna read it again. The petition was, I read that part. No, let me go back to it. For instance, in 2011, an online petition circulated to encourage Sesame Street to allow Bert and Ernie to get married. The petition garnered 10,769 supporters. This petition was created after same-sex marriage was legalized. After same-sex marriage was legalized, in New York, and at the time, Bert and Ernie became symbols of gay rights. They were even on the cover of the New Yorker, hooked to the passing of gay marriage. On the internet, the pair have also become a shorthand for a couple who are together, but who have not told anyone, or simply two very close queer friends. Right? Former writer for the show, Mark Saltzman, said that when he was writing Bert and Ernie, he felt as though he was writing their interactions as a couple based on his own relationship with his partner, Arnie. Right there. So it's with an agenda. I always felt that without a huge agenda, when I was writing Burnt Ernie, they were, Saltzman told Queerty, regarding them as a couple. I didn't have any way to contextualize them. The other thing was, more than one person referred to Arnie and I as Bert and Ernie. So he's talking about his homosexual lover being compared to Bert and Ernie, him and his partner. Saltzman responded to the uproar surrounding his assertion by downplaying his original remarks. He told the New York Times, as a writer, you just bring what you know into your work. Somehow in the uproar, that turned into Bert and Ernie being gay. So this is an openly queer couple that appeared in 2021 on Sesame Street. Pushing an agenda. I have a full episode, 10-minute episode on these two being involved. And it's monsters. These are monsters. It's not little boys, little girls. These are monsters. Right?
Hi, Elmo and I wanted to share that everyone is always welcome on Sesame Street. This month and every month, we want to uplift and celebrate our LGBTQIA+ family, friends, and communities.
Yeah, that's right, Miss Ariana. From our Sesame Street family to yours, happy Pride! Elmo loves you.
And I love you, Elmo.
Mwah.
Two monsters. And they're pushing it on the children. So that's not my theory. That's not my bias or dislike of the program or anything. This is the facts. Those are the facts. What else we got? All right, give me a second here. Give me 1 second. We get the next one. So let me know what you think. Everybody that's tapped in, let me know what you think in the comments about this topic. Monsters. So it says, love is love. Sesame Street features first married same-sex couple to have recurring spots on the show. This is updated from June 2021, USA Today.
His husband Frank. Hi. And my sobrina Mia.
Just bring it back. If that lets me do it. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Everybody, I want you to meet my brother Dave.
Hi.
His husband Frank.
Hi.
And my sobrina Mia.
There's all kinds of different families, but what makes us a family is that we love each other.
See that?
Do you want
That's
free
what's
internet
being subtly pushed
forever? You got it.
on our children. Why? Why? That's the question that should be asked. What else we got? Let me get the next one for us. Let me get the next one ready. Okay. What we got? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. From sunny days to shady nights, meet Sesame Street's newest icon. See that? Got the monsters and the characters. That's Big Bird, and the rest of the monsters dressed like they're at the Blue Oyster Club in Police Academy. You remember that? In a bold leap forward for children's television, Sesame Street has introduced its newest character for Pride Month, Gabe the Giddy Groomer. 230-pound drag queen who struts onto the scene in fishnet stockings, a sequin corset, and a flowing beard that could make the Taliban jealous. With a master's degree in queer theory from an unaccredited Brooklyn art collective, Gabe joins Big Bird, Cookie Monster, Oscar the Grouch, and Elmo to reach preschoolers about the intricacies of sexual orientation, transgenderism, gender ideology, drag, kink, and other from that community's topics. The move has been hailed as a groundbreaking triumph by progressive media and decried as a glitter-dusted dumpster fire by concerned parents, which I would agree. It is dumpster fire. Stinks. In the season premiere, G is for genderqueer. Gabe sachets onto Sesame Street to host a gender jamboree, complete with a musical number titled Not Born This Way. The episode features Gabe explaining non-binary pronouns to a visibly confused Elmo who responds, "They them scared Elmo. No tickles today?" It's crazy. So anyway, this will be available in the description with the rest of the stuff that is shared today. Let's get the next. And this is what's being used as a tool to indoctrinate our children. You put your children in front of the television and tell them to watch this, go ahead, so they don't cry or they don't bother you because you're doing something or what have you, right? Exactly. 100%. Right? And like I said, it's not just monsters. It's not just, I'm not picking on this particular program. There's a couple more I'm gonna share, but so many more. You know, if you watched any shows as a child growing up, you know what shows. Hopefully this will trigger something for you to realize, wait a minute, what was I watching, or what did I put my kids to watch? Right? Because the way it was subtly induced, no one would really tell that specifically those two characters, Bert and Ernie, were that way. You would just think they were roommates. There's nothing wrong with having a roommate. You and a friend of yours sharing an apartment, right? But what was awkward, when you look at it in retrospect, you can share an apartment, but that don't mean you got to share the same bedroom, right? So let's bring this next one up. And it says, Bert and Ernie are indeed a gay couple. So it's basically going to give the same account. Former Sesame Street writer Mark Saltzman said Bert and Ernie's relationship was modeled after his own with his life partner, Arnold Glassman. Right? But you got monsters all over the place. These are monsters. No matter how cute they try to make them look or seem, and they're monsters. Case in point, Cookie Monster. They're all monsters. So it's a good, read. You're going to go through it. It'll be in the description. This has been going on under our noses for decades, under our parents' noses for decades. It's been going on, and it's still going on today. They still got it. And now with Netflix picking it up, what else can we expect? Right? And I'm going to close it out. Not yet, but I'm lining something up to close it out with. I've done it before. I've shared it before. Maybe someone never saw it, so I'll share it again. Just for the sake of it. I'm ready to close out. So that's Sesame Street. Again, there's other shows that I'm sure you guys, as this is being presented, there's other shows that might come to your mind. Not just those type of shows that are live with puppetry and things of that nature, but animated shows, cartoons that have that influence. I've shared it before with Blue's Clues, where that was presented on one of their episodes, dealing with that month, what they call Pride Month, right? And other shows that have it. They even desecrated the Transformers and had he, she, whatever titles in the Transformers with one of the characters and not knowing what they were, right? So here's another one. Some of y'all might have thought was cool. It was all right. Because, the late, great Biz Markie used to be on the show from time to time. Yo Gabba Gabba. Another show where children being raised by monsters. Right? And we're going to get their pictures so you can see it's a monster. this is a brief, explanation of it, with Wikipedia, what have you. Let me get one of the pictures. Only got 2 pictures of this one. And there we go. Let me bring it in a little bit. So we have a clear, apparent cyclops, a monster. It's a monster. What's cute about that? Got 2 fangs or 2 teeth, but it's a monster. Look at this guy. Another monster. Horns. What's cute about that? I don't know what kind of creature this is, but what's cute about it? This is some type of animal. And then the robot. Right? Which is a subtle indoctrination of transhumanism, the merging of man and machine, the acceptance of all this technology and robotics and so forth, right? But clear as day, monsters. And not to mention the host of the show. I believe I have a picture of him. Very suspicious, very suspect individual. On that show. And it's the culprits, Nickelodeon, right? That's clear as day, a monster. Horned. I don't care how, quote unquote, cute you try to make it look with a little smile or whatever. It's a monster. It's a horned demon. One-eyed monster with fangs. It's a monster. Fun fact, when you go and you read the Book of Jubilee in regard to the giants, you see some of them were titans, which we went through before with Enoch, I believe, chapter 7, where it makes mention of the height of the giants that reached up to 3,000 ells. And when you do the number, when you go and look at what the number translate to of 3,000 ells, what does that translate to? It's almost 12,000 feet tall. Titans, right? And in the Book of Jubilee, it lets you know that there were one-eyed giants, which is a cyclops. This is what we see here. And there's no mistake that it's taller than all the other ones, right? That's not by mistake. And this is the host, I guess, of the show, the lead character. And again, it's very suspicious. But another show, as of recent, where children are being raised by monsters. Others should come to mind, Teletubbies, and right? So here's another one. I'm just going to share a few. Again, those of you that were once children and that saw these shows growing up or other shows, you should be able to draw to your memory any other shows. And if you do, put it in the comments. Leave it here in the chat or in the comments, and share it. So here's another one. It's popular in the 80s. Fraggle Rock. Same culprit, Jim Henson. He also is behind the puppets with Sesame Street as well. Right? So you have this in the Marjorie the Trash Heap. This would be the female equivalent to Oscar the Grouch, right? Marjorie the Trash Heap. So Fraggle Rock is another one. Okay. Monsters. Here's a picture of them up close. They're monsters. Look, they're in a cave. They're underground. They look so cute. Why are you? Nah, you reaching. Am I? Okay. All monsters. Let me share this real quick. Let this pass real fast, and then I will share this clip real quick. Pretty much an intro of Fraggle Rock.
Coming to video this spring, it's Fraggle Rock, a special underground world inhabited by the Fraggles who adore music and love to play.
Get your cares away. Worries for another day. Let the music play. Down in Fraggle Rock. Work your cares away. Dancing's for another day. Let the Fraggles play. We're Go-Go and Little Bird.
Ooh, a Fraggle! Hey, look, Bob! I caught a Fraggle!
Dance cares away. Worries for another day. Let the music play. Down in Fraggle Rock. Down in Fraggle Rock.
Down at Fraggle Rock.
The Muppets, another sidebar. The Muppets, also by Jim Henson, they had a character called Animal, if I'm not mistaken, that was a monster playing the drums. Right? So let's get to the comments. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. So the brother says, a known fact that Teletubbies represents the alphabet community. Most recent series, which is good as the storyline itself, but they found a way to defile it by putting 2 female characters on. Right. Well, again, recently with another popular show, Stranger Things, that was something that was brought up as well, how one of the main characters is supposed to be the quote unquote end of the world and humanity. And now he comes out the closet to let everybody know that he doesn't like girls, as if that was not seen throughout the entire series, giving an indication that he was a Fruit Loop. And yeah, as you said, definitely for agendas to be pushed, right? So I'm gonna bring this back before I close it out with the other clip that I have, and let's really look at this one more time. Second Ezra 5 verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be off sent out again, and wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. Monsters. Brother said, okay, cool. You put children in front of television to be raised and taught by monsters, and eventually they will become monsters. So somebody might try to call himself debunking and saying, well, look at the stats and who has ever done this, that, and the third from watching Sesame Street. And I would tell you, look again. Any of your most famous quote unquote serial killers or murderers or what have you, and see what was their childhood like? What did they watch growing up? And it doesn't necessarily have to be Sesame Street, but some other program where monsters are involved or some type of evil villain, right? Or an animal. Okay. So the last thing I'm gonna share, and I want to give a warning and a disclaimer. If it makes you sick, again, this is not my theory. This is not what I think, what I feel. I'm just picking on that quote unquote community. It's the facts, and they say it themselves, and they advertise it themselves, and they make it known themselves. Just like the individual that is responsible for the writing of Bert and Ernie, he openly said that it was based, whether he says loosely or what have you, but it was based on the fact of him and his life partner, right? So this is something that was done some years ago, few years now, might be over 10 years old, but I'm gonna let that community tell you what's on their mind themselves, without me doing it, without anyone being able to say or hold something to me saying that that's what I'm saying or that's what I'm making it out to be. Let's let that community speak for themselves.
You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked? Funny, just this once, you're correct.
Start from the beginning, let me see.
You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked? Funny, just this once, You're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair. We'll convert your children. Someone's gotta teach them not to hate. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. Your children will care about fairness and justice for others. The gay agenda is coming home. The gay agenda is here. We'll convert your children and make an ally of you.
Families marching 3 by 3, hurrah, hurrah. These papas are non-binaries. They love each other so proudly, and they all go marching in the big parade. Baby blue, pink, white represent transgender people, and black and brown represent the queer and trans people of color. We're all in this together.
How is that appropriate? How is that appropriate for children? How is that appropriate for little children? Forcing your agenda and forcing your lifestyle. And oddly enough, there's a very, very small percentage in that community that disagree with this, that are against people of their own community trying to do this and force it on children.
Clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it.
Does anybody in this room know how to twerk? It's all in. And then you just move your bum up and down like that. And that's twerking.
That's a man. And this is how they want little boys. That's a little boy. We got a comment here. What we seeing here? Salute. If your children gravitate towards this, it only represents your failure as a parent. I don't care what nobody says. Yes and no. Yes and no. The reason why I say yes and no is one, you fail as a parent when you're not taking responsibility for what you're allowing your children to consume, be it on television, on social media, or what have you, right? But you're not with your children 24/7. They go to school. They have influence in school. You may not allow them to have certain things, but when they go to school, there's a kid in there that is allowed to have those things that you don't allow your kid to have. Or there's a kid in there that is watching something and is up on something that you would not allow your kid to watch or be up on. So that's why I say yes and no. But ultimately, if you are raising your kid correctly and you're instilling in them the values and the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of righteousness, then 9 out of 10, they won't fall into that, right? Which we know that goes with Proverbs 22:5. If you raise up a child in the way they should go, they will not depart from it. So that's why I say yes and no, but absolutely, I agree. So we look at this video. His parents is all behind him.
Desmond, you're one of the youngest and first drag queen/kids. And I've heard that you've gotten messages from young adults who look up to you for being who you are. What are some of the notes you've gotten?
Some of the notes I've gotten are like that You inspire me very much, and I wish I could have had the support that you have.
I wish that people understood that drag is a way of expression.
It disturbs me that people think that we're, sexualizing them.
So with that, that brings an end to this presentation. Monsters. Be very careful with what it is you allow your children to consume visually, television shows, movies, social media. Right, as is written, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Also, evil communication can corrupt good manners. Influence can overtake people. Absolutely. So it's a battle. It's a spiritual battle. And that's something that we have to be aware of, which is why you have to put on the whole armor. So you can fight against the wiles, the strategies of the enemy. Because he's definitely after the children. It's not by mistake. It's all by design. He is after the children, to corrupt the children every way possible. As I've said before, and I've shared before with a similar topic, you see it in cartoons. The agenda has always been pushed from Bugs Bunny. He's a male character, but he's always kissing another male character on the mouth, on the lips, dressing up as a female, and other characters that are male characters that have done the same. And I'm sure you could think of many other cartoons and children television shows that has been done. And whether it's outright, like we seen on Sesame Street, or something subtle, as they did for a while with Bert and Ernie, and then eventually came out and said, yeah, this is the deal. They are actually this type of people and they belong to this community. And closing it out with the video that I played from that choir, so-called choir from San Francisco, you see all those pedophiles in there talking about how they're going to take your children and convert them. The only way you can convert a child to live that lifestyle is by assaulting them. It's the only way. Right. Great point. He that is in you is more powerful than he that is in the world. Absolutely. So now the question is he in you? Because if he's in you, you won't be able to fall for those things, and you won't be able to be corrupted by those things. You have the tools necessary, like I said, which is putting on the whole armor of God so you can fight, so you can resist, because it is a spiritual warfare as well as a physical one. Right? So with that, we're going to close it out. I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in, everybody that tapped in. I'm really looking forward to January 30th. Keep that on your calendars. For those of you that's interested, if you was here for part 1, we will be going into part 2, myself and my guest, Jerome, my brother Rome, on the topic of the little season and Satan's release from prison after the 1,000 years. And we are in that time right now, which makes sense why the push has been so heavy on the corruption of children and the deception of that lifestyle. One of the many things. What we got here? Yeah, I bet. I bet. I'm seeing everything that's going on over there, my brother. Godspeed to you in safety. I hope everything is straight with you and your family and your loved ones in that situation out there. But yeah, this is the time that we are in. If you believe, praise God. If you don't, praise God. You have your freedom. You have your liberty. And as it seems, it is coming to a close, that time, that little season. It's not forever. It's been going on for a while, maybe 100 and something years or 200 and something years, but it's coming to a close. It was for a short time. And the next thing that we can look forward to, by the grace of the Almighty, is everlasting life and eternity for those that believe and that remain faithful and continue to strive for righteousness as it is told to us within the words of the Almighty. So with that, once again, salute, Godspeed, peace, blessings, grace, and peace to all the believers and all those that have been in attendance tonight. And Lord willing, I hope to see you next week with another one, another presentation. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, pass it around, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're building it up. We're at the same time meeting other people from across the country and across the planet that are in alignment and know the time that we are in. So with that, I say salute and Godspeed. As always, always God time. Do you see what we see? Peace.